story fiction called A Husband and Wife. As, as Stacy walked down to the park, she felt something, watching her from afar. The nervous wreck she was, she began to speed walk, thus turned into a light jog, then a run, then a sprint. She passed the streetlights. As she passed the streetlights, they turned off, even though it was midnight. She made it to the park and spotted a shiny item and agreed with her inner conscience to go get it. She approached it and then looked back to make sure no one was following. After seeing only darkness, she turned for the ring, but it was no longer there. It was only an odd-looking carrot. The carrot was like any other carrot, orange cone-shaped vegetable. But there were different things. They were different in 3 ways. The carrot had a name, Cthulhu. They also could understand humans. No one knew that. And they had big red bumps. Stacy made gross comments about Cthulhu, and she was very hesitant to pick them up. She decided instead of tossing Cthulhu, she gave it to her neighbor, a garden inspector named Mike. Mike was horrified and took them to his shared barn with a gardener, Dolly. Mike was quick to chuck the Cthulhu into the trash, but Dolly intercepted them. As Mike talked to Dolly, he heavily explained how different Cthulhu was from other carrots. He also pleaded to her that he wanted Cthulhu to be thrown away, but Dolly didn't listen. She put Cthulhu in a blue jar filled with healing liquid for 20 minutes, then took Cthulhu out to dry them. Afterwards, she would always rub a dime on them for good luck. Cthulhu knew that Dolly was trying to help, but the bumps had gotten worse, and the red bumps were even larger than it started. But Cthulhu appreciated her trying to save them. One day, Cthulhu was sitting up to dry, and Mike walked past and spotted them. He walked past and purposely knocked Cthulhu onto the floor, first hitting their bumpy side and then their most smooth. Cthulhu lay there for a while, but then Dolly and Mike walked towards Cthulhu, holding hands, and they decided they only had one thing to do. As Mike and Dolly walked over them, Cthulhu unfolded from their carrot seams and turned into an eye with an extremely large mouth. Cthulhu pulled Mike by his foot from his mouth and slowly started to gnaw on him. Not even minutes later, Mike was gone, and drops of blood fell from Cthulhu's mouth. And immediately later, Cthulhu was on to his next victim. A husband, Manny, and a wife, Stacy, were arguing, screaming at each other over a missing ring. "You lost our wedding ring?" he said aggressively. "It's probably somewhere in the city park. Don't come back until you find it." "Okay," she sternly said, and cautiously walked out the door. As she walked down to the park, she felt something, watching her from afar. The nervous wreck she was, she began to speed walk. That turned into a light jog, then a run, then a sprint. As she passed the streetlights, they turned off, even though it was midnight. She made it to the park and spotted the ring and sprinted like a cheetah going for its prey to get it. She approached it, then looked back to see if she was being followed. After only seeing darkness, she turned for the ring, but it was no longer there. There was only an odd-looking carrot.
Yeah. Alana is also a dancer, so that's why she was fun.
No longer.
Right, so I'm going to be reading my fiction piece. It's medium, it's not short. The dog barked and you can hear him all the way down the street and around the corner to the yellow stuff. He growled and howled so loud that all of the neighbors were bothered. It's the gray blue-nosed pit bull with nice blue eyes trying to get to the delivery man and his package. Adrian, the nice, friendly African-American man who delivers all the packages in the neighborhood. It was 7 p.m., just after sunset, and I was trying to deliver cake packages. Suddenly, a glass burst, screaming from behind the red door. Kate went to go turn on the light to see what was going on. It was the vintage glass mirror that had been passed down from her great-grandmother. She started to panic, screaming, "Oh my goodness." Yet, she still hadn't got to see what her dog was barking about. Adrian was so scared that he couldn't even make it to the door. shuffling back and forth between the truck and the fence, scared for his life. He runs back to the truck to grab his phone. Kate's phone begins to ring continuously because she's still sobbing about the mirror. She isn't paying her phone anymore. Running through the house, hopscotching through the glass, trying to get to her room to answer the phone. Hello? She says in a confused voice from an unknown number. Hey, it's me, Adrian. I'm outside with your package, also with your very vicious dog. Oh, I'm so sorry, let me come help you. As she starts to run to the door, I truly apologize that I did not know I had a package coming today, as she wipes her tears. Hey, look, it's okay. I see by the look in your face that you're having a really bad day. Anything I can help with? No, I'm okay. Actually, yes. There's a lot of broken glass on my kitchen floor. If possible, could you clean it up for me? Yes, of course. Just show me the way. As Adrian is walking into the kitchen, he has a flirtatious smirk on his face. He begins to clean up all the tiny pieces of glass, as if almost he was trying to cut onions without cutting. You seem to have a lot of glass here. How did this even happen? It's crazy because I'm still asking myself the same thing. They both look directly into each other's eyes, laughing their hearts away. Look, it doesn't even matter how it got here. If you need me for even the smallest thing, just call me. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything. She smiles, scared very vividly. Kate led Adrian to the kitchen where the glass was. Kate has always been this nice, outgoing person who's always willing to help everyone. She gets it from her grandmother. Adrian noticed her nice long blonde hair and flawless skin. She's a model and is always on the cover girl magazine. She grew up in a busy town of New York, Syracuse to be exact. She will always be around a lot of influencers, which got her inspired to become one herself. She was raised by her grandmother, who was her biggest supporter, but Kate always told her grandmother about this one guy. She describes him as, he's just this sweet man I only see a few times a week, just during the day and rarely at night. He just gives me this look and it makes me feel like I'm the prettiest girl in the world and no one has ever made me feel like this. Wow. Her grandmother looks at her in shock. Kate has never told her grandmother about anyone. Yes, wow, I know, right? Same thing I'm saying, like he's just a guy who delivered all of my packages. You know what? What, honey? I'm going to call him. That's my baby, go girl. Her grandmother cheers on very happily. Adrian grew up in New Buffalo, Chicago, just a small town not used to too many people. He lived by himself and all his other family lived in Syracuse, New York. He moved to Syracuse to help his mother with his house. She's his only son. And later on down the line, he drove his dump truck to go live with his mother. Kate has an obsession with ordering things offline, so he comes there quite often. Neither of them really have time to sit down and talk about their true feelings between each other. Go, shawty, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. Adrian's phone rings so loud, everyone in the bar hears. He left him some old 50 cents. It's Kate, though. What's up, Kate? How are you? Hey, I'm good. I'm just saying how life treating you on this nice Sunday afternoon. How sweet. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Yeah, of course. She says very nervously, blushing. Her cheeks are red as a freshly picked tomato. Well, that's good. See, I always meant to ask you something before I left your house yesterday. But you know how the delivery job goes. Always on the go. They both laugh and giggle, making interesting eye contact through the FaceTime call. How about this? You, me, tonight, at Blue Tux at 8. I'll pick you up. Just be ready and everything is on me. How does that sound? That sounds great. I would love to see you there. Later in the night, both of them put on their best clothing to impress each other. Kate has this nice olive green slip dress with a medium split on the right side, showing something but not too much. Adrian has a nice black suit with the shiniest watch there is. Hey, I'm outside. He walks up to the door and greets her with his lovely yellow roses. Well, aren't you just a show off, she says, smiling so hard. Hey, Grandma, I'm leaving, she shouts from the front door to the top of the steps. Well, you look beautiful as always. Thank you so much. You always seem to surprise me. He holds her hand and walks down to the drive-thru, his 2021 Matte Black Mercedes-Benz. They spent so much time complimenting each other. By the time they got to the restaurant, it was closed. They spent hours talking, laughing, smiling at each other, just enjoying each other's company. After that night, they spent nearly every day with each other. It became more so of a hobby. 5 years later, Adrian and Kate ended up moving with each other in Atlanta, both pursuing their dreams. They now have a beautiful family, 2 girls, 1 boy. Kate is now the star of every show. She has been on the latest CoverGirl magazine along with her own cosmetic line. Adrian now owns his own dump truck company in many locations.
Yay. I got you.
Anna.